In this video, we're gonna compare 9 different work shirts to see which one is most breathable, durable, and the best value. Welcome, I'm Murawski. This is the channel that helps you own better, look better, and live better. It seems that traditional work shirts have really declined in popularity, and most of the time, what I see on the job site now is people wearing t-shirts or sweatshirts beneath a high-vis vest, and that's about it. But if you've ever worn a great work shirt, then you know how great they can be. The storage options, the protection, the versatility, the value, and not to mention, they have a much more professional appearance than that old ratty Natty Ice t-shirt that you're wearing beneath your high-vis vest. I know that's what you're wearing, you sloppy. Well, today we're gonna be testing 9 different work shirts, all the way from a heavyweight juggernaut to something that feels so lightweight that it's like you're wearing nothing at all, and everything in between. And the reason I'm gonna test such a broad range of different work shirts is because depending on who you are and what you do, your situation will vary. Some people will want that heft, some people will want the lightweight breathability. Comparing so many different work shirts may seem a little strange, but keep in mind that a lot of these companies only offer 1 or 2 different work shirts, and that's about it. So in an effort to give you the most information that's the most valuable to you, I included all of them, so you can see how they all stack up, not only against each other, but sort of in real world conditions. Just a quick note, the 1620 Truewerk, Patagonia, and Wrangler rigs shirt were provided for this comparison. However, that had no bearing on the results. The first is the 1620 Workwear button-down work shirt. It was provided for this comparison and it costs $128. The Nyko with Cordura yarn technology fabric has some stretch, but that's enhanced by back gussets and underarm gussets. The pocket dimensions are 5.5 inches wide by 6 inches high with an overall area of 33 square inches. The 1620 pockets feature a unique shape that tapers near the bottom. There are no flaps or buttons to close them up, but the left pocket does feature a pen slot. The collar is buttoned down via hidden buttons, a very nice clean look. The 1620 work shirt is made in the USA and has a soft fleece section inside the collar. The Ariat Rebar DuraStretch work shirt. The price for this guy is $49.95. The fabric is 98% cotton and 2% spandex with some stretch for mobility, further enhanced with underarm gussets. The pocket dimensions are 5 3/4 inches wide by 6 inches high with an overall area of 34.5 square inches. The flapped pockets feature contrasting bar tacks and a pen slot. The pocket flaps are secured with contrasting buttons. The collar is also buttoned down, but with a more traditional exposed button design. The Ariat work shirt is made in India and has an internal locker loop. The Carhartt Force long sleeve, price is $49.99. The shirt fabric is 71% polyester, 29% nylon chambray, and it has shoulder gussets for mobility but no underarm gusset. The pocket dimensions are 5 3/4 inches wide by 6.5 inches high with an overall area of 37.375 square inches. The flapped pockets are secured with tonal buttons and feature a pen sleeve. The collar is a button down. The Carhartt Force shirt is made in India and features an internal locker loop. The Dickies long sleeve work shirt, price is $29, the least expensive of the group. The fabric is 65% polyester, 35% cotton twill. You won't find any shoulder gussets or underarm gussets on the Dickies shirt. The pockets are 5 1/4 inches wide by 6 1/4 inches high with an overall area of 32.8 square inches. These flapped pockets are secured with tonal green buttons and feature a pen sleeve. The collar is not a button down. The Dickies work shirt is made in Honduras. Dri Duck Craftsman long sleeve. The price is $49.99. The fabric is 58% cotton, 40% polyester, and 2% spandex ripstop with some stretch, but no back or underarm gussets. The pocket dimensions are 6 inches wide by 7 inches high with an overall volume of 42 square inches, the biggest in this group. The 2 open top pockets have button closures and there is a bonus third pocket on the right side. The left chest pocket features a pen slot. The collar is button down. The Dri Duck shirt is made in Bangladesh. Duluth Action long sleeve shirt. The price is $54.50. The fabric is 100% polyester with 43% recycled content, the lightest in the group, and features a vented back and underarm gussets. The pocket dimensions are 5 3/4 inches wide by 6 1/4 inches high with an overall volume of 35.9 square inches. The 2 flapped chest pockets are secured with Velcro and feature a pen slot. There is a zippered hidden pocket on the left side. On the placket, there is a hidden sunglass loop. The collar is button down with faux horn buttons. The Duluth shirt is made in Vietnam. The Patagonia Farrier's shirt was provided for this comparison, and the price is $99. The fabric is 55% industrial hemp, 45% recycled polyester, and features a box pleat for mobility but no underarm gussets. The pocket dimensions are 5.5 inches wide by 6 inches high with an area of 33 square inches. The flapped pockets are secured with buttons and have gussets for additional capacity. There are 2 pen slots, one on each pocket. The collar is non-button down. The Patagonia is made in Sri Lanka and features an internal locker loop. Truewerk Tech flannel was provided for this comparison, and the price is $64. The fabric is flannel in name only, consisting of 100% poly twill with a good amount of stretch. With this much stretch, the shirt can get away without back or arm gussets. The pocket dimensions are 5 inches wide by 7 inches high with an overall area of 35 square inches. These flapped pockets are secured with snaps at the outer corners and feature a pen slot. The collar is non-button down. The Truewerk is made in Bangladesh and features an internal locker loop. Wrangler Riggs long sleeve work shirt was provided for this comparison and costs $39.99. The fabric is 100% cotton peach twill with no stretch, but an oversized cut helps mobility. The pocket dimensions are 5.5 inches wide by 6 inches high with an overall area of 33 square inches. The open-topped pockets are secured with faux horn buttons. There is a hidden pen loop within the left pocket. The collar is button down. The Wrangler Riggs shirt is made in Bangladesh. Buttons. Each of these shirts uses 4-hole buttons with the exception of the Truewerk, which uses snaps. The standouts here are the fantastic metal buttons on the Patagonia shirt, the oversized buttons on the Duluth, and the contrasting buttons on the Ariat rebar. Button density is the same across all shirts. Sleeves and cuffs. If you like to roll your sleeves up like me, this part is especially important. The 1620 uses a 2-button cuff and has a 7 3/4 inch sleeve placket with no button. The Ariat uses a 2-button cuff with a 7-inch sleeve placket. The Carhartt has a 2-button cuff with a 7-inch sleeve placket. The Dickies cuff was too small to get my hand through when it was closed, even on the biggest setting, and it has a 6-inch sleeve placket. The Dri Duck has a 2-button cuff and a 7.5-inch sleeve placket. The Duluth has a 2-button cuff and an 8.5-inch sleeve placket, the longest of the group. The Patagonia has a 2-button cuff and 7.5-inch sleeve placket. The Truewerk has a 2-snap cuff and a 6-inch sleeve placket without a snap. The Wrangler Riggs has a 2-button cuff and a 6-inch sleeve placket. Now stitching. Most of these shirts have a flat felled triple stitched seam, which is a very strong seam. And if you think of the fabric kind of doing this and then stitched triple on top, that's what it is. However, I was a little bit tripped up because some of them have double stitching with like a French seam that has an overlock stitch. We're just gonna call those double stitching for the sake of simplicity. The 1620 features a double row stitch. The Ariat features a triple row stitch. The Carhartt features a double row stitch. The Dickies has a double row stitch, but I think this is called a French seam. The Dri Duck has triple stitching. The Duluth has double row stitching. The Patagonia has double row stitching. The Truewerk has double row stitching. And the Wrangler Riggs features a triple row stitch. Fabric penetration. Using a number 3 Phillips head bit, I measured the force required to penetrate the fabric of each shirt. The 1620 shirt required 40 pounds and 1 ounce of force, unsurprisingly the best of the group, considering that it's the heaviest fabric and utilizes Cordura. The Ariat only needed 13 pounds 15 ounces, the least of the group. The Carhartt penetrated at 23 pounds 12 ounces. The Dickies took 31 pounds 7 ounces, good enough for second place. The Dri Duck took 20 pounds 1 ounce. The Duluth took 23 pounds 9 ounces. The Patagonia took 30 pounds 7 ounces, good for third place. The Truewerk took 25 pounds 11 ounces. The Wrangler took 17 pounds 1 ounce. Breathability. The The 1620 scored 0.453. The Ariat scored 1.134. The Carhartt scored 0.737. The Dickies scored 1.385. The Dri Duck scored 1.464. The Duluth scored 1.331. The Patagonia scored 0.793. The Truewerk scored 0.878. And the Wrangler scored 0.960 meters per second. Using a Martindale abrasion machine, a section of fabric from each shirt was abraded for 10,000 passes with an abrasive cloth. This machine isn't designed to wear through the fabric, but to simulate typical daily wear and how the fabric will hold up long term. Each section of fabric was cut from the same part of each shirt, tested with a fresh abrasive cloth, and exposed to the same amount of weight. Determining the order in which these fabrics fared was kind of different, so I just broke it down into 4 different categories. The 1620 was essentially unaffected. The fibers that you see here are likely from the abrasive cloth and not the shirt material itself. The Ariat had a little bit of wear, so we'll put that in the slight abrasion category. The Carhartt was unaffected, possibly due to the smooth, tight weave of the fabric. The abrasive simply glided on the top of the surface rather than biting into it. The Dickies showed slight abrasion with a few colored threads being shed off of it. The Dri Duck fared about the same as the Dickies. Duluth was similar to Carhartt in that it benefited from its smooth, tight weave, showing virtually no wear or damage. The Patagonia was the worst of the bunch, with a lot of shed fabric and obvious damage to the abraded area. Truewerk performed well, however, there was a little bit of shed fabric, so we'll put that in the medium abrasion category. The Wrangler, being 100% cotton, showed some pilling, but not any damage to the fabric, so we'll put that under medium abrasion. My overall thoughts on these shirts, well, the 1620 is definitely the heavyweight champion. It's number 1, the heaviest of the group here, but it also basically shed off any kind of wear. It was the strongest when it came to penetration. And if you need a tough as nails, thick, durable shirt that basically will last forever, this is gonna do it. The only problem is you have to have the wallet for it. While the Ariat didn't score as high as its brother, the Dri Duck, in a lot of these tests, the underarm gussets make a big difference in mobility, and I gotta say, it's the coolest looking of the bunch. I mean, with those contrasting bar tacks and the buttons and stuff like that. The Carhartt is great if what you need is a simple, lightweight, long sleeve shirt, and you're looking at the Duluth saying, maybe it has a lot of features that I don't need, or maybe it's a little bit too expensive. The Carhartt seems to just kind of get out of its own way, and it gives you everything you need with big pockets, added gussets for mobility, and a great lightweight cloth. The Dickies is the least expensive of the bunch. It's also probably the dressiest looking with that hidden French seam. But it really feels dated. This reminds me a lot of the uniform shirts that we used to be issued. They're kind of scratchy and they feel old school. This is a model that I feel hasn't changed since they introduced it. And the big thing that would stop me from wearing these as my work shirt of choice would be that tight sleeve cuff. I mean, if I have to always undo that cuff to get my hand through it, it's not gonna happen. That's just one added thing that I don't like. And forget about trying to wear a watch underneath that cuff. You just can't do it. The Dri Duck is sort of the sleeper of this group. It performed really well throughout the tests. The pockets were the biggest of the group, but it kind of blends into the background, especially with those tonal buttons. You don't notice it right away. And if you size it properly, so much that you don't necessarily need back or underarm pleats, this thing could be a total home run. The Duluth is definitely the king of the lightweight work shirts. Now, it has a lot of features. That's something that Duluth always does. They always give you extra features and odds and ends and stuff like that that maybe isn't useful to you, maybe it just gets in the way, or perhaps you really like those things. But I gotta tell you, if I was working in direct sunlight or someplace that I knew it was gonna be really, really hot, this is the shirt that I would want on my back. The Patagonia was really disappointing, and at one time this was my favorite work shirt, but I was actually very surprised to see how it held up with abrasion. I still love those metal buttons. I think that their pocket design is fantastic, and overall the feel of the shirt is really nice, but it's expensive, and since it fell short in all those different categories, I just think there are better options out there now. Truewerk prides itself on being different than the rest, so that just across their whole line seems to be what they like to do. And this is no different. It fits slim, it's stretchy, which is kind of weird. Even look at that back, it's cut on an angle, and everything about it is just a little left of center. A lot of people like that. So if you're a trimmer guy and what you want is something that's gonna fit a little closer to the body but still have a lot of stretch and give to it, this is the shirt for you. The Wrangler Rigs shirt can be summed up in one hyphenated word, and that's old school. With its 100% cotton build and its oversized sort of classic workwear cut, and its price, it's easy to see why people keep going back to this brand. And I gotta tell you, of the group, the one that I like to wear is this one. It's comfortable. Something about that cotton just kind of tends to feel good and old school. It has the features that I want and none that I don't. And it reminds me a lot of this shirt that I have on right now. I actually bought this probably in the late 90s. And yeah, sure, it has a few cuts and it's faded a little bit, but shirts like this, you just keep wearing and they just keep giving back. So I think this is a shirt that's gonna last for a long time and the value is really great. I'd give this one probably best value of the group. So that's it. Which one was your favorite? Or did I completely miss one that's like a total gem? Let me know in the comment section below. I want to thank my patrons for making this possible. These videos take a lot of time and they're pretty expensive to do, so especially those at the Loafer Slayer level, my patrons are the best. So thank you so much for that. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you later.